Good morning, students. Danny coming from the office here. Today we're going to talk about test driving for noises. I'm going to start with the usual, which is safety. Safety first. No matter what, when you're on your test drive, make sure that you're safe. Do you want to get hurt? Do you want to wreck a car? Do you want to lose your job? Do you want to hit a pedestrian? All those kind of things. So safety, safety, safety. The next thing that I'd like to bring up are a couple of tips that I found that are a little more general, and I'll try to throw in here some longer, a little more specific tips that I use when I test drive for noise. Noise can be wind noise, clunk, rattle, squeak, those things. Can be bearing noise, humming noise. Could be vibration, a grounding. It's a myriad of things. I don't know how you could ever put them into one specific lesson, but there are a couple of things that I'd like to really um, emphasize. I think that are in the big picture are going to benefit you always around. And one of them is, again, along with safety, but the second thing that's most important in my mind is to make sure that you respect the customer. Respect their car, how you drive, respect their it as your own, if you will. Don't be testing the radio volume and things like that. Don't be jerking the seat around and moving it back and forth and all those kind of things. Leave things as you can to the best of your ability. Okay. The third thing is now we're going to get away from the general stuff, a little more general, but is to pick a route. Pick a route that you can drive on that is safe. It's not as busy. It fits your needs as far as test driving for this noise. Each noise has a specific set of parameters that are unique to it, as far as maybe makes a noise at a certain time, certain speed, those kind of things, certain road surface. So all of those things are to keep in mind. And when you pick your route, some to include roads and road surfaces and driving styles and specifics of the drive and maneuvers that you have to make, I guess is the best way to say that will allow you to verify that this noise is occurring and help you to diagnose it. So, and there's a bunch of different things that you can do that you'll learn over the years. Experience will teach you a lot of this. You can learn a lot from your mentors. Sometimes service manuals will even have you specific. There might be a TSB on or a service bulletin, depending on your car line, that encompasses a noise, a specific noise, and how you diagnose it and how you determine it and how do you do the repair. And then your test drive is going to involve verification at that point. And I think that brings the biggest point, or one of the bigger points I can make is that you have to recreate the issue in order to have noises happen. How you say that exactly, but and when you're on a test drive and you're on a route, you're trying to listen for a noise. If the noise occurs at 30 miles an hour and you're going 40 miles an hour, well, you ain't going to find a noise. Or if it happens when you're coming to a stop and you're driving on a freeway, and I think some of that's kind of common sense, but yet you can narrow that down a little bit where it's quite as specific. Maybe it's an intermittent noise. Maybe you have to drive the car to get it to a certain temperature. All these things are parts of trying to find a noise, and you'll be running into them. Sometimes they're frustrating. The key to this, I think, more than anything, is to be able to find a efficient way to actually find these noises and verify customer concerns and to get them diagnosed in a timely manner. You're not making any money when you're driving around, so unless it's 100 degrees out and it's air conditioned in the car, there's not really a lot of benefit to be driving around. And I'm sorry for my humor there, but or my attempt at it. But again, just a kind of a recap of that. I mean, I'll try to give you a few tips here that might help you. A couple of things I've used over the years that help me find noises. Obviously, the first one is safety. Be safe. But also, pick a route. Have a predetermined route. Know where you're going to go. Know what you're going to try to make the car do to duplicate the noise. understand different types of noises. Do your studies before, know what it takes to make the noise happen. Really research with your service writer or whoever wrote up your ticket, if it's your manager or your mentor is handing you that. Get as much information about the noise as you can before you go on the test drive. Me reading the repair order when you're going down the road. You want to be concentrating and focusing solely on making that noise happen. Sometimes noises are hard to hear. Sometimes there's driving techniques that you can use. Be aware before you go on your test drive so you pick a route that will allow you to do these things. Front wheel bearings, rear wheel bearings, sometimes swerving the car in the lane. Obviously you don't want to get a ticket, and you want to be safe when you do that, but there's times and places for all of these things. Maybe you need to find a parking lot. Maybe it's when you're turning in a tight parking lot maneuver. Have that all figured out ahead of time so that it's an efficient way for you to be able to do those things. Another thing with noises, wind noise. Maybe you're going for a wind noise. Carry a roll of painter's tape with you. Taping up on if you haven't already done that, you think you hear where the wind noise is coming from, and you stop and you want to eliminate that if it's a body alignment issue, or if it's a mirror that isn't tight on the door, or it's a molding that's loose. You can tape it up and verify that it's gone, and that's the time to do it right then. So be prepared. I think that's the biggest thing. Road noise, might have a bearing noise, a hum. You're not sure if it's a bearing or not. Drive over different road surfaces is another tip I can give you that will help you in your diagnosis.